y'all come up with people who continue to fill into roles and give you, not just give you gymnastics, but very good scores.
Yeah.
I know they've said y'all see this in the gym, but still they got to translate it to on the floor. Just how have y'all been able to do that? How they've been able to respond to these situations?
I just think more than anything, they're starting to believe what we tell them about themselves. I think there's a belief system that goes into it, and I think they're demonstrating that they believe it. But I also said to y'all early in the season when we were losing, the sky's not falling, but at this point, as great as the last 2 weeks have gone, we still hadn't done anything. So we got to be careful. We got to temper both directions there. When things are going well, we've got to understand that the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next, and not get too crazy with how we judge ourselves. We've just got to stay on point, stay on message, and I think they've done a good job of not falling into the trap of when we were losing several meets in a row, feeling like that was really defining who they were, and then now that we've won 2 big ones, that can't define us anymore either. We've got to stay true to the message that we've established in terms of this whole we climb thing that has turned out to be very prophetic in many ways, and just take it one step at a time and define ourselves by ourselves and make sure that our character and our commitment and our confidence becomes unshakable. And if that is the case, then we've got a chance to be okay here at the end. But I just want to temper I don't want to overreact one way or the other. I didn't, go dig a hole and stick my head in it when we were losing, and I'm not gonna throw a party, hats, horns, and confetti all the time just because we've had success. We have been progressing at a steady pace the entire year, if anybody's been paying attention, and we haven't had a bad day yet. One that you would define, knock on wood. But so I've just been impressed with how they've been true to the message, staying on course, unshakable when we get kicked in the teeth with injuries. They just keep climbing, and that's got to be our continued message.
Yeah, you talked earlier in the year that it was going to take time for some of them. That's kind of what we're seeing. I guess Chase is a good example of that. Right? Some of them improved, as you've said, and become a little bit more consistent with each week.
Yeah, and Chase has shown us these things on and off. She struggled, early on, especially on floor with her confidence, but the vault's been pretty consistent all year long. I think Lexi Jeffrey has done a good job, and she showed you that she has the ability to do the level of gymnastics that we need her to do. The only thing that prevented her from getting in the lineup in the first place was being able to show it day in and day out, time after time in the gym. She could, but then you get pressed into action, whether you want to or not, because the injuries are there. And fortunately, we learned something about her. She's a competitor, she can, but you still don't want to take away the message that they need to hear, that they've got to be able to, if they want to be consistent in that role, they've got to be able to show it day in and day out in the gym, because that's really what's going to truly put them where they want to be when the pressure starts to hit.
To that, kind of to what you said there, have you been pleased, impressed, or just what you expected when you point to these young ladies and say, you got to go out there, that no one's going, who, me?
No.
They seem to be rising to the occasion. Yeah,
and we tell them that. Nobody's here because you can't, We didn't bring you here because you can't. So they need to understand that, and we've talked about being prepared in case you get called upon, even if you're not getting in a lineup week in and week out. Some have done a better job of buying into that than others, but I think, case in point this week, we're, quite honestly, we walked into that, I wasn't sure what we were going to get, to be perfectly honest with you. I knew there was the potential to get what we got, because I've seen it, but you just don't know until you see them do it. And after the meet, I just told them I was extremely proud of them. There wasn't a whole lot more to say. Just proud of how they've handled the adversity, and all the attention goes to 2 injuries that have happened, but my goodness, there's been so much more than that, you know, from the jump, dating back to August, where we've, you know, Annie Beard being lost for the year and on and on and on. So I'm very proud of what they're doing, but I also don't want to, you know, pretend like we've crossed the finish line.
The girls mentioned it's supposed to be bouncier in the River Center on Friday.
Yeah.
Is that an advantage, disadvantage? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, it's something we have to, that's part of the reason we're doing it, is because SEC's is on the podium on an elevated surface. The national championships are on podiums. I hope one day we can get all the regional meets on podium, because I think it adds a lot to the prestige of the event, and the way that this format is now, it's crazy. But yes, the advantage is that it theoretically trains us to have a feel for what that feels like, because 2 weeks later we'll be at SEC's on a podium, and that was really the main reason that I did it. That and the fact that we can sleep in our own beds and go get an away score is hard to replace. You know, so hopefully the place presents well. Hopefully our fans will show up. I know it's a more expensive ticket than what they're used to paying to be in the PMAC for sure, but if they go to the box office, they can save money and not have to pay Ticketmaster fees and those kinds of things. But I think it'll seat about 5,000 or 6,000, and I just hope that not just our season ticket holders and anybody who's wanted to get a more premium seat and see a great competition. Cal's a great team. They're ranked right behind us this week, and Washington's very strong. So I think it'll be an entertaining event, and I hope that we get something good out of it. We always are going to do better when we have the energy coming our way in the room. So I know it's not the PMAC, and I know it's a little more, it's hitting the pocketbook a little bit more on the ticket price, but we sure could use the support down there.
You get to bring the band and stuff, or is this not, that's all out?
No, we won't bring the band, and they're they're kind of limited on a lot of things.
So we hear.
Yeah. So, I'm hopeful that it comes off well. We won't be bringing our band or anything like that. No.
So, how did this come about? Is this the first one? I don't remember.
This is the first one. It's a club meet. A guy that is an LSU alum who owns a gym. His son was one of our managers years ago, Nico Cusimano. He wanted to do a club meet down here, and so he's done it several years now, and he had the idea, like so many of the other club meets around the country, whether it's Metroplex or some of these others, to do a podium meet. And he asked, if he were to do a college meet and do a podium meet, would we want to participate in that? I said, yeah, if the date could work, and fortunately, this year it worked, and we're working on trying to keep it going. But with conference expansion, we're not real sure what the future of it looks like, but I'd love to have a podium meet local that we can do that. It benefits our team in so many ways, and if it can become an annual thing, I think it'd be great.
Is one of those benefits all four performing at the same time?
Yeah, the whole thing mimics itself, Dave, like a championship meet. It kind of, the championship meets are not alternating, so it's kind of a 3-ring circus when you go and everybody's just rolling through their routine. So you get a sense of what that's going to feel like. And I just think to do it late in the year like this is something that should be advantageous for us.
Yeah, because in the past when you've done gym quarters, it's usually the Mardi Gras Invitational. It's usually a lot earlier, right?
It's been earlier, and Metroplex was always earlier, and that's why I kind of really liked it when he said he wanted to do it in late February, early March, kind of time frame. I thought, yeah, let's take a look at it, and the River Center has worked with him pretty well on it. I just hope that it comes off well. I think it will.
Are you planning on having anybody exhibition at the meet? Because I know since it's not on TV.
He's not allowing exhibitions, and the reason for that is he's got a real tight turnaround time to get his club meet going the following morning, and he's got to get that podium broken down very fast. It's a different animal when you have to set a podium up in addition to the equipment. You can ask our guys what a pain in the neck it is to set up a meet in the PMAC. Try to do that and get the podium set right is a bit of a challenge. So we'll probably exhibition if we can. If we have enough bodies to do so, we will look at exhibitioning against West Virginia, because that one will be on the plus platform rather than on the linear.
What's your highest road score right now?
The Alabama meet, 197.9.
975?
975, is that what it was? Yeah.
Think you could do better?
Oh, I don't know. I don't, again, I'm not going to measure things by win-loss. I'm not going to measure them by necessarily things we can't control. I know whether we perform better week over week. There's certainly things we left out there at Alabama. There's things we could have done better in several spots. We didn't start particularly well on bars at all. Fans want to blame judges, but I know where the mistakes were made in the performance. And they woke up, and we had a little firm conversation after bars, and they woke up and lit it on fire. The score was what it was on vault, but those vaults were legitimately what they scored. And so, can we do better? Yeah, but I don't know that necessarily that would translate into a higher score. You just don't know. That's why none of this gets decided until we all get on the same floor with the same judges in the same venue on the same day. That's when you really know what you're looking at. Scores can fluctuate and performances can fluctuate, and sometimes a better performance will score lower than one that really had more mistakes. So you understand that about the sport being subjective, and you just have to keep plowing forward. We know whether we've improved, and so far we've been able to do that week over week, at least for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
What's your NQS right now, in the 6th?
Should be 6th, yes.
We're 6th, yeah, and
So-
second in the conference
Second
now
in the
instead of
conference,
third, which is more important to me right now.
Right, because you're really trying to secure, making sure that you're in the
Yeah.
evening session
Yeah.
at SECs. And so as you said, this is would be a road score, so you could,
Yeah.
if you have a good score, this is really put you in great shape.
Yeah,
That part's important.
I don't know what our low row score is right now
We
that
threw
we're
out Utah,
counting,
right?
but with that one we threw out, but it would be,
19725 at Arkansas.
Yeah.
there you go. So we'd like to replace that and continue to move that NQS up. But at the same time, again, we're pretty much, I think, the likelihood of us being a 2 seed is probably there statistically. I don't know if we could move to a 1 or not, but
In a regional.
yeah, and it really doesn't matter. What's more important to me, and what's been more important to me, is just make sure that we're in that evening session at SECs, which really gives us a chance if we can stay in that. And the fact that we moved from third in the conference to second would mean that if that were to hold, we could start on bars, which is a more favorable rotation. So, those things matter, but as far as scores and those kinds of things, I can't really define much by that.
Any update on Cam Ryan's injury status?
It's status quo. They did an MRI. She's supposed to be consulting with the doctor on what that looks like. I don't anticipate any real change between now and the end of the season with that.
Do you have any better defined idea of when KJ could return?
No, she said it feels good. But they won't look at it for a while. They've got to let that bone heal. She's walking around in a boot, but she is weight bearing, and she said it feels fine. It's still pretty discolored, and
Which one did she break?
she broke the 5th metatarsal, which is the little toe
Little toe.
in the middle of the foot is where it popped, and most of the time they'll say 4 to 6 weeks. I've never seen one. I don't know. Everybody's a little different, but 4 weeks would be extremely optimistic to me. But we'll see. I don't want to get into. For me, I've got to focus on what we have, not what we don't, and just try to make sure that I put my energy there. Until the docs say she can go, she can't. So.
What did you see from Olivia and Bryce in their return to the lineup?
I thought Olivia did a nice job. Need her to put the emphasis on the knees being straighter and things of that nature that she knows are there. But I thought she did a really nice job. It was a good routine. I was very proud of Bryce to get back out there and do what she did. That was a counting score for us. I think she went 9.875, and so it was a good score, and should give her some confidence. I think more than anything, Bryce just needs confidence. Olivia doesn't lack confidence. We're okay in that area with her. But with Bryce, she just needs experience and confidence, and needs to be able to carry herself where she's projecting confidence. Because I think when everyone around you feels that you're not confident, it can they worry about you, and you don't want that. You want whatever lineup is out there, everybody needs to be able to look each other in the eye and know, I got you back, I got you. So, and feel that from each other, and that's something we're working on. You know, she's a freshman, and this has all been pretty new, and she took that header on beam, and it kind of slowed some of that growth in terms of confidence, but